Alright, y'all, so today I want to make a very quick video to talk about possibly one of the best Super Bowl movie TV spots that was ever made. A TV spot that is near and dear to not only my love for Transformers, but just in general to my childhood. That is, of course, I don't know if y'all remember, but we're going to be talking about the Transformers Age of Extinction Super Bowl TV spot, the so-called big game spot. Now, there was previous movies that attempted to do this, and a lot of movies these days use the Super Bowl to advertise their movies. I mean, it's arguably the biggest sports events of the year, even though, like I said, there's plenty of other events like, the Olympics and the World Cup. But in America, it's a huge deal. And to promote the upcoming, at the time, fourth Transformers film, Transformers Age of Extinction, they decided to debut the film, so to speak, at the Super Bowl with a really interesting 30-second TV spot. Now, this TV spot, in general, in a lot of ways, Age of Extinction is a pretty kind of nostalgic, heartwarming movie for me. Now, the quality of the movie, admittedly, I haven't seen in a few years, is a huge mixed bag. Obviously, there's a lot of big problems of Age of Extinction. I'm not trying to make it seem like it was the greatest movie of all time. But, it was kind of a special time in a lot of ways regardless. At the time I was growing up, I was still a very little kid when this movie was coming out, but I was coming of an age where, number one, I was starting to use the internet a lot more frequently. And I was actually starting to, and like I said, I was a pretty big fan of Transformers. I saw the movies on TV a lot growing up, and the movies were still going on at this time, and I was super excited for the next Transformers movie. And I remember this was probably either the first movie or one of the first movies I remember actively following the hype cycle that was Age of Extinction. Regardless of how the final film turned out, the hype cycle, the marketing team, the campaign, so to speak, was great. It was great marketing, great buildup. And not only that, it was helped by a huge emerging new form of content covering the movie, which of course is YouTubers and internet content. And of course, I cannot make anything about Transformers content that covers the movies and stuff without mentioning the Raging Nation. I don't know if y'all remember this YouTuber. He was a guy who covered all the updates, the leaks, the production updates, the build-up, everything. He was a huge Transformers news channel that covered the lead-up, the hype cycle, the reaction to trailers, everything leading up to the film's release. And it was honestly a great thing, especially since if you were a Transformers fan and you were wanting to find out more information and just in general be hyped along with the guy who's making the news for Transformers Age of Extinction. And watching his videos on Age of Extinction, man, was legendary. I loved watching his videos. I love checking out the new upload, the new update, the new theory, so to speak. Back in the day, well, there was a lot of wild theories going on for Transformers Age of Extinction. And, like I said, the hype was real. It was super exciting. And I remember the build-up, especially with his videos, that when it was announced that the Super Bowl was going to be the first look at Transformers Age of Extinction, man, my young kid self, man, was super excited for the movie. And I first watched the Super Bowl thanks to this TV spot. I remember watching the Super Bowl, watching the commercials, the game, and eventually getting to that legendary 30-second TV spot. And after rewatching it, man, it gets me hyped for the movie still. Even though the movie came out and we all know how it turned out, it's honestly a great TV spot. It's very quick. It's a 30-second little, quick mashup of scenes. And arguably there was a lot of controversy with this at the time because there was a lot of unfinished VFX, so to speak, in this version of the trailer, which eventually was updated later on by Paramount in March of 2014. The Super Bowl TV spot itself came out in February. But, regardless, I think it's really cool. It kind of shows a little bit different look at the movie. The shots used are great. You see Optimus Prime getting hit by some weird, at the time we all thought maybe he was locked down or a new, Transformer, Decepticon. His face transforms into a gun, takes him down. It's really cool. The VFX in general, the lighting in this teaser is very dark. It presents a much more somber, maybe even morbid view of the film. The ultimate film that we got at the end of the day, the VFX and the scenes were much more brighter, and the color palette was much more saturated. But, that was not the case for this teaser, and it presents a really interesting look. We got to look at Optimus Prime and his new design, the Dinobots, man. What a legendary part of this teaser, seeing Grimlock riding around. I mean, our first look at Grimlock in this movie, really great stuff. Really awesome. Seeing Bumblebee very briefly, seeing Galvatron very briefly, and just all these mashup of scenes. It looked really exciting and intense. Even the font that was used in this teaser, it's a different font from what they ultimately went with in the final film. It's more blocky. It looks almost more ancient looking. It was really interesting. And like I said, this was also the first look at the new film. I mean, like I said, if you looked at leaks, a lot of things weren't exactly revealed in the leaks. Like, if I remember correctly, I don't know if the Dinobots were fully revealed until this teaser came out. Same thing with Optimus Prime's design, so to speak. A lot of things remained up in the air until this teaser came out, and when it came out, it was a huge, huge exciting moment for Transformers fans and the general nerds everywhere. They even did a poll before the Super Bowl even aired, like what was the most exciting TV spot / commercial people wanted to see, and 48% of the poll reportedly said this movie, Transformers: Age of Extinction. It was a great thing, man. I mean, I'll never forget watching the Super Bowl my old CRTV back when I used to live, and just seeing that, the teaser kind of break onto the TV during the commercial break, and it was so exciting to see that for the first time. It was such an exciting moment to not only be a Transformers fan, but just a fan of any kind of media in general. And arguably it was one of the most exciting and, for me, one of the most memorable moments ever involved with Transformers. And it was just a great moment. Like I said, I'm probably, doing a lot of nostalgia writing in this video. But, like I said, I generally think the Transformers 4 Super Bowl TV spot was one of the greatest TV spots of all time, at least personally to me. It was so exciting watching the lead up to it, the hype cycle, even after this TV spot aired and everyone watched it, everyone did the reactions. I know I was flipping out as a kid seeing this TV spot. I mean, it made it seem like Transformers 4 was going to be the greatest Transformers movie ever, which of course now in hindsight is hilarious. But, it's just one of those things, man. I mean, in general, the marketing, the hype cycle, it was all a great thing. And honestly, I think this TV game spot, so to speak, this Super Bowl TV spot for Transformers: Age of Extinction, should be remembered as a really cool moment in the not only Age of Extinction, but maybe Transformers history. Maybe I'm overreacting here, but just kind of wanted to give you my thoughts, my honest off-the-top reactions, and just opinions on this Super Bowl TV spot for Transformers: Age of Extinction. How great it was for me at the time watching the Super Bowl for the first time for this TV spot, witnessing it on my old CRT TV I had at the time, and just the amount of joy and overwhelming excitement I had for this movie, making it seem like it was the greatest thing, watching videos like Raging Nation, watching all the updates leading up to this movie. The hype cycle, the marketing was all really fun and good times. It was honestly a pretty good time to be a Transformers fan, at least definitely a young Transformers fan at the time. Regardless, of course, how the movie turned out and, of course, how it aged, which, frankly, I haven't seen the movie in years. But yeah, I just wanted to make a quick video to give you kind of a weird little moment, specifically important to me, talking about a very interesting part of Transformers history, and arguably one of my, if not my favorite Super Bowl TV spot for a movie ever, which was the Transformers Age of Extinction one. What a time to be alive, right? But yeah, I just wanted to make this quick video. Hopefully y'all have a good day. If y'all ever watched the Super Bowl TV spot for this movie and have any memories, definitely let me know in the comments. Share your experiences. I would also love to know about them and what this TV spot, or in general Age of Extinction, or the marketing hype cycle around this movie meant to y'all. But yeah, hopefully y'all have a good day, and peace, y'all.